Good morning and welcome to Morning Coffee with Rob. This is going to be episode 8, take 2. Just technical difficulties last weekend and couldn't get her up and rolling again, which sucks. Things happen, so can't do much, unfortunately. Roll those punches, hope for the best. That's all we can really do, right? So that's what is we're just kind of rolling with the punches as they come along and hope for the best. I apologize if there's any delays or lags in the stream or if audio or video cuts out at this point. It just kind of is what it is. I think I'm having some other kind of weird technical difficulties that I'm not sure exactly to overcome. So once again, thank you for joining us. It's Morning Coffee with Rob, and we're on this episode we entitled Why Are We All Being So Serious? There's a lot going on in life, don't get me wrong. I think there's what a lot of us really can handle or probably want to really handle as well. That's fine. So what we're going to do is a little bit of good news, I think. And we're going to start off with, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson gifts his own custom truck, which is cool, I guess. Although my newsfeed jumped on me there, so okay. To deserving fan at new movie screening. Oh, that's really cool. What else do we have going on here? Whales once walked along the coasts of North America. Wait, what? Oh, totally, yeah. This is from Good News Network. A tooth found nearly 50 years ago has recently been re-examined and found to contain the remains of a land-going whale from an extinct family in Pakistan. Well, that's pretty cool. Who doesn't like anything about dinosaurs? I know I like things about dinosaurs. So my kids like dinosaurs, so that's pretty sweet. So yeah, some fun and interesting things there with some stuff with dinosaurs and Dwayne Johnson gifting a truck. Being that's in the US, I'm not sure fully what the tax implications are on that for people, but kind of is what it is there too. It's a cool thing to get from The Rock or Dwayne Johnson, whatever he wants to go by now. So I can't really say that it's a bad thing or a good thing. It's pretty cool though. So it was recently brought up to me that I'm high strung or uptight, I think is the word I was actually used. And I tried to fight that idea because I don't feel like I'm an uptight person. I feel like I'm pretty laid back, pretty chill and calm. But at the same time, completely, yeah, I can be pretty uptight and pretty wound up. And it's difficult for me to relax and just calm down and take it easy some days. And I know that, and I am trying to get better with it. And it kind of reminds me of a talking part in Knocking on Heaven's Door, the Guns N' Roses version, which I think is actually from Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise. And the guy's talking on the phone with some other guy, and he's like, "You'll never get out of life alive." And kind of made me think a little bit more too on that. Like, taking things too seriously doesn't make a lot of sense because none of us are going to actually get out of life alive. So why are we bothering to take things as seriously as we do? Things should be taken seriously, don't get me wrong. There are things that need to be taken seriously, and we should take those things seriously. But overall, life is meant to be enjoyed, and we should have fun with life. And with that being said, taking on life and just being a little less serious about the whole thing would definitely benefit, I think, a lot of people. And I know, especially for myself, it would be pretty beneficial not to take it all too seriously as well, just because builds up a lot of stress, and it's a lot of the stress that comes out of taking things in life too seriously just isn't good for you or really works well in your favor, especially health wise. And there's no better example of that than one of my coworkers who takes her job seriously. Like, don't get me wrong, she's really quite good at what she does, but she's taking it all too seriously and gets really kind of wound up. And she actually ended up having a heart attack last year, which is pretty frightening. So once that kind of happened, she started taking things a little less seriously. However, she still takes things, unfortunately, pretty serious and too serious in most cases. There's some other stuff going on there too. But the point is, taking it all too seriously just means that you're going to run yourself down. You're going to build up your stress and anxiety too high. And it's just going to cause a whole bunch of other health issues that aren't going to be good for you. So taking the time to just kind of kick back, relax, and just try to do something fun for yourself isn't a bad thing. You're not being lazy, you're not being neglectful. You're really just taking the time for yourself to regenerate and recuperate. And what better thing could come out of that than being able to recuperate and regenerate yourself and being able to bring yourself forward again than taking some time and just not taking everything as seriously as you probably have been. It just really kind of made me start to think, like, everyone has like an existential style crisis where they're not sure if they're belonging, the purpose. But then it kind of made me think, can you have an interstitial crisis where you have like a crisis within yourself about yourself? And I don't even look it up because it's not even a word, interstitial crisis. So that's not even an actual thing. But I made the word up because I felt like it was something that people could be able to do and figure things out on your inside and kind of try to figure out what's going on there. And taking it all too seriously definitely adds to that. Shouldn't be. And it is totally lost where I was going there for a second. So interstitial crisis, yeah. So it's just something that seems like it's figuring out things kind of internally, so you can try to figure out how to kind of run what you've got going on internally a little bit more, so you can try to figure out what is happening, and that way you can try to be a little bit more a little less serious and take things a little more with levity and try to be more happy and helpful for people. And it's just I totally lost where I was going here for that. Oh boy. I just know that for myself anyhow, when things come up and things cause a little more stress and anxiety for me, I know I don't always take it in the best ways. And it's something I've been definitely trying to work on a lot more, because it's definitely something that I need to work on myself and try to make it so I'm not running through it as bad and causing a lot of undue stress and anxiety on myself, which isn't good for me or my health, my family, or anything else. So I do definitely work pretty hard on I've been working harder on trying to not be quite as serious about everything and trying to take things a little more lightly. When things come up and things aren't working, it's just like try to like, oh, okay, let's try to see this from a different light and see if that is working better. And if it isn't, try to figure out something a little bit differently. Because life really is kind of just an experiment all the way through, right? It's just kind of is what it is. Like I think it was Tim Ferriss was one of the ones that just kept saying, experiment with things. Life is a big experiment, and just try to figure out more by just experimenting with more. The more experiments you can run in your life, the better your life will be. I think it's kind of the route he was going with that, if I remember correctly. And the way I kind of understand that is if you're running some experiments and things don't go wrong, then you're not as worried about it because it's just an experiment. If it doesn't go wrong, you can always change it and fix it and figure out what went wrong and try again. And if that's just not working out, you can just stop and kind of move on to something different instead of taking it all in and just building on it and just letting it fester. Just realize that, hey, this isn't working out quite right, so we will move on to something else and see if we can make that work out better. Pardon me. And it's like trying to run the. I do have issues that come up, and it happens. It happens more frequently than I would like, but I just pause it and then wait and then try again a little bit later. And quite often it works out in the end for me. So it's kind of nice, and I'm really kind of happy that I'm able to do things like that where I can just put things on pause for a little bit and then go back to it. Yesterday's a really great example about how I was taking things a little too seriously in the moment. And then once I was able to kind of step back and just kind of relax for a little bit, I was able to see things in a bit of a more positive light and be a little bit more optimistic about things. And it took a lot. Like it really, really did take quite a bit because I was out in the cold for hours, trying to work with my brother on getting my car going again. And it just, yeah, there was just a lot that ended up happening. And I also hadn't eaten. So my stomach was just like super hungry, and I was super hungry. And it took a lot to get through until dinner time because this happened at 10:30 in the morning, and I didn't get to eat until about 6 o'clock at night. And I hadn't eaten all day, so it was a lot to go through and work on to try to make sure I felt good and felt better in the end. And once I got there, it was great. Like I managed to get some food into my system, and I felt better, and I was able to a little bit more clear that things weren't as dire, and I was not quite as catastrophizing. That's the one thing I've noticed, at least with myself. You may have noticed it on your own, that once you start taking things a little too seriously, you can end up catastrophizing your thoughts a little bit more because you're starting to think in one path that might not be quite as good. Well, some of you might be the complete polar opposite, and once you're taking things seriously, you just got like this super focus on where you're going and how it's actually going to turn out and how positive and great it's going to be. Each person's going to be a little bit different on how they completely visualize all this in their head and how it's going to end up working out for them in the long run. I just know for myself that the last little bit that's been kind of what's happened is I've taken things too seriously, and my brain just grasps onto certain things and just goes down a certain path. And it's rough and it's really hard to work with, but if you can get past that, then you're probably going to do okay. One of the other things that I've really kind of noticed with taking things a little too seriously in life is you end up with no joy. Like you don't have a lot in the way of joy that comes out of things. At least for me, anyhow. I can't speak to everybody because, like I said, everybody's is pretty different. And I do try to find all the fun and exciting things that can be done to not be as serious in life. There are certain things that I'm trying to take a lot more seriously, like starting my business and trying to create better content for people and try to bring some enjoyment to the world and some positive outlooks and try to just make things more fun, I guess, and more exciting for people. and try to help them and just kind of help them figure out where they're wanting to go and what they're wanting to do. And like, I'm trying to take that really quite seriously. Whether I'm doing a good job on it or not is a whole other question. Because there are days where I feel like I'm not, and other days where I'm like, yeah, I'm totally rocking this. So it's you gotta kind of balance it out, maybe where you're taking things seriously, but then not taking everything as seriously. Not too sure where else I can go completely on where that is. I've been having definitely some technical difficulties today, so I've been kind of just working through it and hoping for the best and hoping this all comes out okay in the end. I'm watching my recording software here, and it says I'm recording hardly any frames per second, which is kind of rough. That's okay. It's my first time trying this one out in particular, and I'm hoping the video's coming through on all the for Twitch and DLive, and then I'm hoping Get Vocals working out properly as well. I do realize I had some audio issues earlier, and it looks like I might still be having some in some places as well. And if that's the case, I apologize. I'm trying really hard to make things go and make it all look good and sound good. Being wintertime as well right now, it's a little difficult to try to get everything done and trying to take everything as seriously or unseriously as possible, just because I got a lot to now do. I'm like, A, I'm also working full time. B, I'm trying to do this. I'm also a dad. I'm also trying to maintain my house and shovel my driveway and try and keep the snow off of everything as much as I can, just to keep things going. Like being a one-man show, like you got to take things pretty. It feels like you got to take things pretty seriously, and maybe I take things obviously way too seriously and just need to step back and realize, like, hey, you're not exactly for really Superman, and you need to step back and realize that you can't do everything, and you should be taking it a little bit easier on yourself and realizing that you're not going to get it all done in one day, or you're not going to get it all done at the drop of a hat, or you're probably going to have to ask for a little bit more help. Like, luckily with my car, it needs to get some work done on it again today. We thought we solved the problem, but we came across one other one. And I have to go get a part, which I have some help with a vehicle to go do. And we're going to get that hopefully taken care of today or the next couple of days, depending on if it's a quick, easy fix. If it's a quick fix, perfect. Done today. If it's not a quick fix, it might take a little bit of time because I got to rely on my brother to come and do it. So, and that's awesome because I have friends and family who are willing to help me out and step in and be able to help where I need. And I don't have to stress out and be like this basket case the entire time, where I do have some options to get me through where I'm going. And that's helps take the stress off, which means I don't have to take it nearly as seriously because I do have other options. And in the time when it all was going down, I had a really difficult time seeing all these options and then seeing the options that were good and the options that were positive. So I ended up really just focusing in on the bad parts of everything and not on the good parts, which wasn't smart. And I know it wasn't smart. And I needed to really kind of focus more on, pardon me, on what it is that I was on the better aspects, actually, not on what I wanted, but on the proper aspects of what I should have been looking at, which would have been who's able to help, what kind of help can they provide, and where can this help eventually get me so we can move forward and just get it all done. But instead, I took it way too seriously and just buckled into some of the pressure for a little bit. Once I got home, out of the cold, started being able to warm up, I could start seeing things a lot differently, a lot better. And I was able to go, okay, so this is how this is working. And now we can figure out what to do to get everyone taken care of for tomorrow and the next couple of days. We have a plan. We're putting it into place. We're working on it today. I got to go help my stepdad get his car insured since he's not able to drive it right now. So I can drive it for a few days or months, whatever it needs to be. Need to get the part for my car, so hopefully I can get my car fixed and his car can be there just in case it's needed as a backup. And yeah, and we got a plan in place. It took somebody else kind of being outside the situation a little bit to really kind of help out and figure out the situation and take on a little bit of that responsibility for me, which was great because I just was not seeing it clearly at the time. And once they seen what was happening, I was able to work with them and try to figure out what we were wanting to do, which was sweet. Like, it really helped out a huge amount. And I was really happy to get this kind of help and be able to figure out what was needed. And we sat and talked and we figured out the plan. And now we're just putting the plan together. Obviously, my last few episodes will all come back to making a plan and kind of executing on that plan. And you don't have to have a massive big plan to execute on. Like, you just have to have like a basic, simple plan to work on to make life better, or to see things in a different place, and to just move on and get things done. And that's kind of where we're at. We're just trying to figure out how to get everything going, and we have this basic plan, and now we're able to execute on it and make it all happen, which is pretty sweet. And I'm really excited to be able to work with this and just kind of see where we're at. And it kind of is what it is at this point. I can't really do much more on it. And I don't know if I want to do much more on it. Like, it's just something I've just got to roll with a little bit and kind of hope for the best, right? And that's kind of where we're at. It's just, I'm not taking it as seriously. I'm just like, it is what it is. It's outside of my control. I had done everything I possibly could at that point to maintain everything, and things just didn't work out in my favor. And I just got to learn to let that go and just move on and just find the next thing that'll work out properly for me. And I think we got there. I think we're getting there. I've started to put other little things into place too, which is really nice. So I'm starting to see things a little bit differently and trying to find parts that I can just implement. And now I just got to now that I have an idea and some plans, I just need to put the time and schedule it in to make it actually happen properly. Anyway, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today, just because I have things I have to get done, like shoveling my driveway and things today as well. So I want to thank you for joining me today. And I really appreciate everyone who comes on and interacts and watches. You mean a lot to me, and I love you all. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter at Eldorabo, ELDEROBBO. You can also follow me on Instagram, same handle at Eldorabo. So if you would like, you can come check out the mini adventures with me and my family over there. And then we drop a few other little fun things there as well. But mainly we just chronicle some of our little micro adventures that we have. If you want, you can also hit me up and you can come over and hang out with us on our Discord channel as well. Our Discord channel is called The Abundance Brotherhood, and you get to kind of hang out and enjoy some fun things and get hopefully some positivity and kind of see where the studio part of everything is with videos. Catch up on some past things, maybe find some new stuff as well, and hang out and have a good positive time and not have to worry about places like Facebook or Twitter spying on you. Yes, we all know we don't want that to happen anymore. You can also come check out my website, rob-hicks.com, and you'll be able to check out my blog and see what's going on with everything else that I'm got going on with coaching and video series and newsletters and all that other fun jazz. So I really appreciate you guys coming over and checking out my website and hanging out with me over there too. If you enjoy what I'm doing, you can go to the website and let me know things there, or you can also head on over to Patreon. Same username, it's ELDEROBBO, so Eldorabo, and you can support me over there. Plans start just at $1, which is awesome if you just want to help out. Or I've also got some lovely merch as well over at rob-hicks.com/shop. And you can come pick up some cool swag. You can get some hats and some toques. Or if you're Americans, beanies is also what they're known as. But I'm Canadian, so we call them toques. We also have face masks, because that's unfortunately, but once again, outside of my control. So we just kind of roll with it. Anyway, that is the episode for today. I hope you all enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you more. Hard and live long. We'll see you all later. Adios.